Welcome back to Chops Garage, everyone. The Alpha's back. Right guys, Silver Alpha's back from Moores down in South Molton, Moores Garage. So this is my first experience with Moores Garage and Phil down there doing an MOT and doing the work for me. If you remember, it failed on the rear brake light not working, and that's because the wiring loom was completely broken going into the boot. Happens all the time when the rear wipers stop working, the rear lights stop working. Very, very common problem. And the only other thing was, he said the front pads were getting low. I think it was the front pads. So just double check. Yeah, front brake pads were getting low. Said it wasn't marked on the MOT for, but he said they were getting low. So I had him do the front pads and rewire the rear light on it, and obviously the MOT. All in £200. All in 200 quid, excluding the VAT, because I can claim that back. For that, I've had front pads supplied and fitted. The rear wiring loom has been soldered back together, every single wire individually. They're not colour coded on those, so it takes a while. You have to resolder them one by one. And the MOT included as well. So all in for a couple £100. I'm well happy with that. And I now have a completely advisory free MOT for this Alpha, so not a single advisory. Phil mentioned when he first MOT'd it, it's really good underneath. He said it's really solid underneath. Not that these are renowned for rotting at all. Sorry, I still got a bit of a cold. So yeah, completely advisory free MOT, low mileage. We've only got 53,000 miles on it. Drove it back again just now. It goes like an absolute steam train, goes so well. So all we need to do is give the thing a really good clean up and then decide what we're doing about this door. It's not actually that bad, to be fair. Maybe somebody wanted it cheaper just with the door as it is, but it needs a really good clean up. I need to tidy up the alloys a little bit. I'm probably not going to go crazy, just tidy them up a little bit, give them a bit of a dust coat of silver and some lacquer over the top. But the interior is what needs all the work. It needs lots and lots of cleaning. Now I want to put my hand up and admit this to you guys, put a shout out yesterday in the local area to see if there's any mobile valeters, because I'm getting so far behind with work at the moment. Obviously I've still got to get the beam changed out on this. I've got 3 new cars in there and another one arriving this week, which are all ready to go. They've all got long MOTs, they've all just been serviced. Well, I've got to service this one as well, haven't I? Yeah, so I'm just getting really far behind. So I was put a shout out for a mobile valeter to come out to the unit and do the basic cleans of the cars, so I can try and catch up a little bit, because I've still got to do my VAT for this month, for this quarter as well. Sorry, this month. I do it monthly, this month as well. So I am getting a little bit behind, I'll admit it, and I'm going to have to start outsourcing a little bit of work. So hopefully I can get someone to come up and give this a really, really good clean, and I can just do the touch-ups on the wheels and, like I say, either replace the door or paint the door. And hopefully also they can get the other cars prepped in the unit there. I think we need to have a little look at what other cars I've got, actually, because a couple have arrived, or so one more's arrived since you last saw, so let's have a quick look at that. So this is what I picked up at the weekend, cheeky little weekend buy. I saw it come up on Saturday afternoon on Marketplace down in Bideford, so just down the road from me, and I thought I'd pop and have a look at it Saturday afternoon. Did a deal and picked it up Sunday. Wife dropped me off and brought it back here. So I got a good long drive back in it on Sunday, which was a lot of fun. I've always wanted to try one of these. So this is the obviously Renault Twingo 1 litre SC Play, and the thing with these is they're rear engined. So your engine is in the back underneath the boot. We'll have a quick look at that in a minute. I've always wanted to try one of these. Excuse my voice, I just can't get rid of this cold. I always wanted to try one of these because I always wondered how they handled, how they went in general, just, you know, what kind of a car they were, see them about. Thought they're quite cool looking. So yeah, I wanted to try one, and like I say, popped up locally, so I thought I'd go and give it a go. So what we got a 65 plate, so late 2015. As I say, it's an SCE Play 1 litre with 47,000 miles on it. Now, I'm going to have to get some advice from you guys on this, because it seems to have a very high spec, much higher than I would have thought one of these came standard. Firstly, I've got cruise control, which surprised me. Then I've got my Bluetooth for my phone. And then you've got this set up here where I imagine this is the play element of it, where you can plug this in the center here and then plug your phone in, and you can basically use all the phone to do all the controls of your stereo, or you can connect it Bluetooth. I had mine connected Bluetooth to the stereo. But the nice thing with it was I had my Spotify playing, is I could still go up and down the tracks from the stereo here, even though my phone was down there just connected via Bluetooth. So I like that. You've got auxiliary and USB as well. Air conditioning, which blows nice and cold. Like I say, you've got the on-off for the cruise control down there as well. So that really did surprise me. That's, you know, spec-wise. I don't know if we've got front electric windows. I haven't actually looked to see if we've got rear electric windows. Oh no, they're pop-out windows. Well, there you go. That shows how much I know about these. Every day's a school day. So they're pop-out rear windows. Yeah, front electric windows. And I thought, yeah, I mean, spec-wise, that surprised me. The seats need a really good clean. They're a bit dirty. But nothing we know that a G0101 won't get out of it. G101. So let's have a sneak look at the engine. You've got to undo all these. Reminds me slightly of looking at a battery tray on a old MGB. So once you've unscrewed all those, you just lift this up. And there you go. There's your engine. I imagine it catches a lot of dirt back here. All seems okay though. I've checked the oil levels. The fluid levels are all good on that. And it runs okay. Like I said, I had a good long drive in it on Sunday. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how easy this is to work on. I guess once you've got the wheels off the side, it's not much harder than anything else to work on. You've got an engine mount there and one over here. So I imagine you could drop the whole thing out quite easily. Probably easier just to work on the ground on it. And it's a chain driven, so we aren't going to worry about any cam belts. So, but yeah, I will give it a detail, because I'm sure whoever buys the vehicle's probably never going to go near in their life, but would want to see it's clean. And I do need to give it a service, because interestingly, the advert for the car, I messaged the chap and said, I said to him, what's the service history? He said, there's no service history with the car, which I'll explain in a minute. He said, but I have just had it serviced. I said, oh, okay. I said, you got a receipt for that? He said, no, it was done cash with the garage. They did the MOT, but they did the service cash. He said, they serviced this and they serviced my other car at the same time. I said, okay. He says, well, let's have a look at the engine. So I popped the cover off, had a look at the oil. I said, that has not just been serviced. It's too black. So it should not be that colour, just haven't been serviced. Oh, maybe they didn't service, he said. He said, oh, I don't know, I don't look at the engines. I said, well, you said they serviced your other one as well. He said, well, I'm wondering if they did that one as well now. I said, well, do you want me to have a quick look and check and see if that one's been serviced well? Oh, no, don't worry, I'm part exchanging that anyway. Which I found a little strange. The bit I found strange was the fact that having paid for it to be done, and know that it hadn't been done on this one, it found it strange that he then didn't want me to double check the other one, because if he's paid for a service and hasn't had it, you'd think he'd want to know, wouldn't you? This is a bit of a pain having to put all these back in again. You'd think they'd just make it a pop cover, wouldn't you? I don't know why it needs to be screwed down. Why not just put it on a hinge and then have a clip on it and just let you undo it? That's what Hyundai would do, isn't it, guys? Anyway, so yeah, I found that strange. So it does need a service. I need to do an oil filter and air filter change on it. But being chain driven, like I say, it's not going to have to worry about cam belts on it. And it definitely doesn't have any rattle on start up. We'll start it up in a minute. So that's what they look like underneath the cover. So did the guy really have it serviced? Was it a bit of a porcupine? Or did he think he had it serviced and was done over by a garage? I don't know. Difficult one. I don't know the truth, so I'm not going to say either way. All I know is the oil in that car has not been changed. I mean, it wasn't black, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't new oil, it wasn't fresh oil, because he reckons he's done no miles since it's been changed. So we'll never know on that. But anyway, I'll do the full service on it anyway, won't I? So yeah, all the toys work. I've gone through all the toys and they all work. In terms of how the engine sounds, I'm sure some of you want to hear that. We've got a chirpy alternator belt, which I need to take care of, or the tensioner, one of the two. So that will be interesting to see how easy that is to do on this engine. It quietened down when I went on for a run, but it obviously does need doing. But other than that, it ran like an absolute champ, and it was a lot of fun. You can really start, you know, it's a typical small car job. You got to keep the power there. You got to get the revs up, and then try not to slow down for any of the corners, and just keep your momentum going. And when you do that, you can thread corners together really well, and it does handle really well. It really does handle well. Bodywork wise, there's nothing really to speak of. There's no dents or dings or scratches. It's got these trims which I don't like at all. I'm going to change those. But yeah, bodywork wise, there's no scratches or dents or dings to speak of at all. Bodywork's all in good nick. So going back to the story of the service history, like I said, he said it didn't have any service history. The reason it didn't have a service history is because, for those of you that check all my number plates like within 30 seconds of seeing them, you'll already know this is a category N car. So this was previously non-structurally damaged. So category N insurance is where the insurance company says that they don't think it's financially viable to fix the car based on its trade value, but the damage is only superficial, it's only panel damage, it's nothing structurally on the car at all. So he had bought the car as a Cat N, and when you get cars from the insurance companies, you very rarely get the service books, because the car's normally been recovered from the side of the road and people keep their stuff at home, so unless they put it in a glove box, you very rarely get it. So I understood why it didn't have a service history. Now, what I did find afterwards though is, I found strange was normally you don't ever get the handbooks either, because people haven't left the handbooks in the car, or they've just been lost in between. But this actually had the original Renault folder and the handbooks, and from the Dacias I know that a lot of the time the service history is in the back of the handbooks. There isn't a dedicated service history book for Renaults and Dacias. And I have found, looking through the handbook, that actually it's got a near full service history. It's only missing one service. So that is a massive bonus, having a look through that. So that's going to add some value to it straight away. So I'm going to do a service on it. I'm going to sort that belt out, stamp the book, and I'll have a full service history then. 47,000 miles was it? I think. 65 plate. As a Cat N, I scored this for £2,800. So, which I think is a bargain. If you look around the car, trying to establish what the damage was, what the panel damage was. He didn't have it fixed, he bought it fixed, so he can't tell me what the panel damage was. But walking around the car, the only thing I've spotted at all is the smallest of overlaps with the wing here a little bit. That's sitting out just a little bit proud of the door there. Now if you look on the other side, they don't look to be absolutely level. They seem, even from factory in this, they put the whole front end back on again. The panel gap here is really, really good. The panel gap here is bang on. And it sits out ever so slightly. And on this side, the panel gap's still good there, and the actual width of the panel gap is pretty good. But it gets a little bit closer here, and this sticks out a little bit. So if I was to guess, I'd say front wing and a bumper, because the bumper is touching a little bit. Again, there should be probably a slight panel gap there where the bumper's a bit close together. So I'd say front bumper and wing on that. These aren't hugely valuable cars, so it wouldn't take much more than that for the insurance company not to do it. But having driven it, drives absolutely perfect. Like I said, it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be a super cheap car for a 2015, late 2015 with that mileage on. I'll be able to also sell it on cheap. It's like I always say with the category cars, as long as you buy them at the right price and you sell them at the right price, you're okay. Again, a lot of people disagree with me, but I know from my customers, this won't affect the customer's insurance in terms of how much it costs them to insure the car. Yes, they'd get paid out less in an accident than against a non-category one, but they're buying it cheaper in the first place, so it doesn't make any difference to them. If they're getting it 25% cheaper and the insurance company pays out 25% less, they're okay. they're whole. They're not missing out on anything at all. And someone's going to end up getting a much newer car with lower mileage. I mean, this car probably, I'm thinking 3,995 I'm thinking, for this car. Obviously I've got to put a warranty on it, I've got to service it, I've got to do the belts, and I'll have some other costs. I've got the VAT as well. 995, so 3995 for a 2015 car. I mean, with this, what would this be on the forecourt if it was a non-cat car with this spec, with the cruise control, with the Bluetooth? I'd have thought you're £5 plus easy. I'd have thought you're £5 plus, especially in the current market. I would have thought you're £5 plus on it. So I think it's a good buy. I'm sure a lot of you have your own opinions, and I think it's going to be a cracking buy for someone as their first car, because in the current market, for £4,000, you're buying what, ropey old 2010 Fiestas, 2011, 2012 Corsas, that kind of thing. This is, like I say, for this money, I think you're going to be hard pushed to get a better car. And like I say, you're buying it cheaper, so it really doesn't matter. The insurance company pay out less if you had a bump because you bought it cheaper in the first place, and it won't increase their insurance costs. I've not found any customer yet. Some of you commented to think it has, but I've not found any customer yet whose insurance has been bumped up by having a Cat N car. I can believe it possibly with the Cat S, but with the Cat N car, no. And with warranty wise, I can still put the warranties on them being Cat N as well, because again, nothing structurally has been damaged on the car. It's panel damage, and as I always say, you could be had this part right next to another one of the same age, same year, same miles, that's 1,200, 1,500 quid more, non-cat, and I guarantee if I walk you around the car, I'll be able to show you where that one's had damage to the wing, damage to the bumper, and been painted as well. It doesn't matter, because it's not a non-cat, it doesn't mean it hasn't had an accident. It just means it was done when it was new enough for the insurance company to think it's worth doing. Anyway, I've gone through that a million times. I'm sure I'll never get it through people's heads, that. But I think they're great buys if you get the right ones.